So in other videos, we looked at how the central bank works. In this video here, we're going to talk about central bank independence. So in most countries around the world, the central bank wants to be seen as independent as possible from political pressures, so from the party that's in charge. And the reason for that is that often the goal of the politician in charge may be different from the central bank. Give you an example. The election cycle is about to come around and you want to stay in power. So you want to have unemployment rate as low as possible. So let's say we're currently at higher than natural unemployment levels. So you want to stimulate the economy, but the central bank is not stimulating the economy that much because there is a bit of inflation going on, higher inflation than what is desired going on. So they don't want to overstimulate the economy to create more inflation. That's their issue. But your issue as a politician in charge is to get reelected. And you know that this inflation problem, it often kind of happens a little bit later after the fact. So if the central bank can just lower interest rates, stimulate the economy, you're going to be perceived as a good leader. You're going to get reelected. And then inflation comes in, but that's the beginning of your term. You got a lot of time to get the population to forget about that before the next election afterwards. That's the issue about having the government that's in charge control the central bank, because what they're going to propose, what they're going to push for is for drops in interest rates when the central bank wouldn't do so, because it's going to lead to higher inflation levels than their main mandate, which is to keep that 1% to 3% range with a 2% target. So how do many of these central banks ensure some level of independence? Well, in Canada, the governor is typically appointed for 7 years, and you think that most governments last for about 4 years. Elections happen at most every 4 years. So by having 7 years, this governor is not associated to the finance minister, it's not associated to the political party in charge, and therefore this governor kind of lasts longer, and therefore they offer some level of independence and a certain level of stability in the markets. In the States, the typical terms are 4 years, but if we look at the terms, they don't intersect with the presidential terms. So it's not like you got into power and you're going to elect this governor or this Fed chairman, we would call them. They typically happen more or less midway through. So because of that, it also ensures some level of independence. There's a lot of other kind of little safeguards to make sure that it's as independent as possible, and you really want to make sure that that independence remains. Otherwise, you'll have the horrible stories that have been seen in history, like in Germany and other countries where you have hyperinflation problems. Well, those hyperinflation problems happened in situations where they didn't have that good separation going on. Because it would never happen in a situation where you have this Fed chairman or a central bank governor that decides this is my goal to keep inflation rates low. And even if the economy is going through a stagflation phase and we have like a recession going on, if we have an inflation problem as well, we can't really stimulate the economy that much. We're going to let it recover on its own. That's what they would typically say. And so by having this independence, we can make sure that if they keep working towards their objective, hyperinflation problems are not going to arise. Short-lived inflation problems haven't really picked up over the years. If we look from Canada, they achieved this, or they set this target in around 1995 to have 2%. And all the way till recent history, that was pretty much on target for all of the years. The only time that they didn't manage to do so was with the pandemic and a war in Ukraine that started, which both of them created these big supply shock issues that led to price increases for a certain amount of time. It increased, but they managed to bring it back down pretty rapidly. We didn't have like increase leading to more increase, leading to more increase, leading to hyperinflation problems. And that is thanks to this independence. So every time you hear a politician go after the Fed chairman or the central bank governor, you should be wary, because when they're doing so, they're kind of going against this independence, which could lead to bad things. Hope you found this interesting. Catch you in the next one. If you found this video interesting, please consider subscribing or joining my class where I guide you to apply and expand on the information found in these videos to real-life examples. Have a good day.